First contact emergency. Commander Sarah Chen stared at the pulsing light on her console, her coffee forgotten beside her keyboard. The signal had been coming in for 3 hours now, a perfect mathematical sequence that couldn't possibly be natural. Dr. Okafor, I need you in the monitoring room. Now, she spoke into her comm unit, eyes never leaving the screen. Deep Space Monitoring Station Epsilon wasn't supposed to be exciting. Located in lunar orbit, it was humanity's furthest listening post, designed to detect potential threats to Earth's expanding solar system colonies. In its 15 years of operation, it had never picked up anything but cosmic background radiation and the occasional solar flare. Until today. Dr. Amara Okafor rushed in, her research tablet clutched against her chest. Is it still coming through? Stronger than before, Sarah confirmed, bringing up the waveform analysis. And it's definitely artificial. The mathematician studied the pattern with growing excitement. This is no random emission. There's structure here, complex equations embedded in the signal. Someone wants to be understood. Within hours, the station was buzzing with activity. Military personnel, linguists, and xenobiologists crowded into the small monitoring room as the signal was decoded bit by bit. It's a distress call, announced Dr. Okafor finally, her voice hushed with awe. And it includes navigational coordinates. Admiral James Harrison's weathered face filled the main view screen, his expression stern as he addressed the hastily assembled Earth Defense Fleet commanders. Ladies and gentlemen, as you've been briefed, we have confirmed first contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. The signal appears to be a distress call from a species identifying themselves as the Solarians. Their message indicates they're under attack by another alien force called the Volari. The room remained silent as the Admiral continued. The United Earth government has made the decision to respond. This will be a humanitarian mission first and foremost, but given the unknown threats, we're sending our best combat-ready vessels. Captain Alina Reyes sat straighter in her chair. As commander of the EDF Hyperion, Earth's newest and most advanced warship, she knew what was coming next. Captain Rice, your battle group will spearhead this mission. You have the fastest ships and the most experienced crews. Your primary objective is to assess the situation and render aid to these Solarians if possible. Secondary objective is to gather intelligence on both alien species. Alina's mind raced through protocols and procedures. There were no protocols for this. First contact scenarios had been theorized, but always under controlled circumstances, not diving headfirst into an alien conflict. Timeline, sir, she asked. The Hyperion battle group deploys in 48 hours. That's all the time we have. According to our calculations, these Solarians may not last much longer. As the briefing ended, Alina's second-in-command, Commander David Park, fell into step beside her. So we're really doing this, he said quietly, rushing into an interstellar conflict between species we know nothing about. Alina nodded. Seems that way. How's the crew taking it? Excited. Terrified. Pretty much what you'd expect when you tell 300 people they're about to meet aliens, and possibly fight them, Alina added grimly. The next 2 days passed in a blur of preparations. The Hyperion and its 3 escort vessels, the Artemis, the Orion, and the Phoenix, were loaded with extra supplies. Weapons systems were checked and rechecked, and the crew underwent crash courses in xenobiology and potential first contact scenarios. Dr. Maya Lin, the battle group's chief xenobiologist, had set up a makeshift lecture hall in the Hyperion's mess. Based on the mathematical complexity of their communications, we're dealing with a highly advanced civilization, she explained to the assembled officers. But that doesn't mean their biology, psychology, or social structures will be anything like ours. Lieutenant Zoe Rodriguez, the Hyperion's tactical officer, raised her hand. Any guesses about their combat capabilities, or why these Volari are attacking them? Dr. Lin shook her head. We simply don't have enough information. The distress signal mentions overwhelming force, but that's relative. What's overwhelming to them might be standard for us, or vice versa. In other words, Elena summarized from the back of the room, we're going in blind. The launch ceremony was brief. Earth had decided to keep the mission classified from the general public until they had more information. Only military personnel and key government officials watched as the 4 gleaming ships detached from lunar dock and accelerated away from Earth. Once clear of the moon's orbit, Elena gave the order. Initiate FTL drives. The stars outside the viewports blurred as the ships tore through space, traveling faster than light itself. The Alcubierre drives, humanity's greatest technological achievement, created bubbles of space-time that propelled the vessels toward coordinates hundreds of light years distant. Days passed in the strange non-time of FTL travel. Elena used the time to prepare her crew, running combat drills and first contact scenarios, but everyone knew no simulation could prepare them for what awaited. "Captain, we're approaching the coordinates," announced Navigator Torres. "Preparing to drop out of FTL. All stations, battle readiness," Elena ordered. "Shields at maximum. Weapons on standby. But do not target unless I give the command." The stars reappeared as the ships decelerated, and Elena's breath caught in her throat. Before them hung a massive spacecraft, easily 5 times the size of the Hyperion. Its design was unlike anything humans had imagined. Organic curves that seemed to flow like liquid, with a surface that shimmered with iridescent colors. But what drew the eye were the gaping holes torn in its hull, the debris floating around it, and the dim, flickering lights that suggested failing systems. "Life signs?" Elena asked. "Detecting approximately 3,000 biosignatures," reported Science Officer Jackson. "But they're weak. Environmental systems appear to be failing." "Any sign of the attackers?" "Nothing on sensors yet, Captain." Elena made her decision quickly. "Hail them." Standard first contact protocols. Communications Officer Chen worked her station. Transmitting greeting package. Mathematical sequences, basic chemistry, simple images. Minutes ticked by as they waited. Elena watched the damaged ship, wondering what kind of beings were inside, whether they were looking back at the human vessels with hope or fear. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," Chen exclaimed. It's in English." "On screen," Elena ordered, masking her shock. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a being that made Elena's heart skip a beat. The alien was humanoid, but clearly not human. Its skin was a luminescent blue-white, like starlight given physical form. It had no visible nose or ears, just large, almond-shaped eyes that swirled with colors reminiscent of nebulae. "Earth vessels," the being spoke, its mouth moving in perfect sync with words that should have been impossible for it to know. "I am Zephyr, ambassador of the Solaran Collective. Your response to our call is unexpected but welcome." Elena stood, straightening her uniform. "I am Captain Elena Reyes of the Earth Defense Fleet vessel Hyperion. We received your distress signal and have come to offer assistance." "You travel quickly," Zephyr observed. "The Volari attacked us only 14 of your days ago. We did not expect any response so soon, especially from a species unknown to us. We have recently developed faster-than-light technology," Elena explained, wondering how the alien could possibly be speaking English. "Ambassador, your ship appears severely damaged. We have medical personnel and engineering teams ready to assist." The alien's colors shifted slightly, perhaps an emotional response. "Your offer is appreciated, Captain, but I must warn you. The Volari battle fleet will return. They left only to resupply their weapons. They intend to eliminate us completely." "May I ask why they're attacking you?" "Because we refused to give them what they demanded." Zephyr's colors darkened. "The Volari are expansionists. They seek to harvest worlds for resources without regard for indigenous life. We denied them access to our home system, so they'd pursue us to make an example." Elena nodded, understanding the universal language of conquest all too well. "How long before they return?" "Hours, perhaps. Our sensors are damaged." Then we need to move quickly. Elena turned to Commander Park. Prepare medical and engineering teams for immediate transport to the Solaran vessel. Lieutenant Rodriguez, coordinate with the escort vessels to establish a defensive perimeter. As her crew jumped into action, Elena returned her attention to the alien ambassador. Zephyr, I have to ask, how are you speaking our language? For the first time, the alien's expression seemed to show something like amusement. We are quick learners, Captain Reyes. While waiting for a response to our distress call, we intercepted communications from your world. Our translation matrices did the rest. Before Elena could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. Multiple FTL signatures detected. Lieutenant Rodriguez called out. Large vessels dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. The view screen split to show a new group of ships appearing against the backdrop of space. Unlike the flowing lines of the Solaran vessel, these were angular and predatory, bristling with what were unmistakably weapon systems. The Volari have returned, Zephyr said, colors pulsing rapidly. Captain, you must leave immediately. They outnumber your vessels significantly. Elena turned to her tactical display, quickly assessing the situation. The alien was right. There were at least 15 Volari warships approaching, each comparable in size to their own vessels. But something else caught her attention. The sensor readings from the alien ships showed unusual energy signatures. Their technology was advanced, but in different ways than humanity's. Their weapons appeared powerful but slow to recharge. Their shields were strong but inflexible. Ambassador, Elena said slowly, a plan forming in her mind. I believe there's a third option beyond fighting or fleeing. What do you mean? Your people have never encountered humans before, correct? No, your world is unknown to us. Elena smiled grimly. Then the Volari have never encountered us either, and they don't know what Deathworlders are capable of. Zephyr's colors swirled in confusion. Deathworlders. It's what you might call us if you knew where we evolved. Earth is a harsh planet by most standards. High gravity, extreme temperature variations, diverse predators, natural disasters. It made us adaptable. Elena turned to her crew. Battle stations. All ships form up. We're going to show these Volari exactly what happens when you threaten someone under human protection. As the human vessels moved into formation, the Volari ships approached, their intentions clear. The first interstellar battle involving humanity was about to begin. Commander Park moved to Elena's side, speaking quietly. Think this is why we never detected alien signals before? Because the galaxy out here is at war. Elena watched the approaching enemy fleet, determination hardening her resolve. If it is, they're about to learn that humans know a thing or two about warfare, and about standing up for those who can't defend themselves. The Hyperion's engines roared to life as it moved to intercept the Volari fleet, humanity's first diplomatic statement to the wider galaxy, taking the form not of words, but of action. Deathworlders unleash. The Volari commander's voice crackled through the translated communication channel, harsh and guttural even through the filtering algorithms. Unidentified vessels, this is Fleet Commander Vextar of the Volari Dominion. You are interfering in official Dominion business. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed alongside the Solaran refugees. Elena stood calmly on the bridge of the Hyperion, taking a moment before responding. Behind her, the crew worked with quiet intensity, battle stations manned and ready. This is Captain Elena Reyes of the Earth Defense Fleet. We are responding to a distress call under interstellar humanitarian protocols. The Solarans are under our protection. Stand down your weapons and withdraw. A harsh sound came through the channel, something between a laugh and a snarl. Earth, we know of no such world or people. Your ships are small and few. This is your final warning. Elena nodded to Communications Officer Chen to cut the transmission. They've made their choice. Execute Battle Plan Theta. Across the 4 human vessels, crews moved with practiced precision. The Hyperion itself remained stationary, appearing to hold position to protect the damaged Solaran ship. The three smaller escort vessels, however, suddenly accelerated to speeds that seemed to catch the Volari off guard. "They're scanning us heavily," reported Science Officer Jackson. "Trying to figure out what we are." "Let them wonder," Elena replied. "Lieutenant Rodriguez, status on the Volari weapons systems." "As predicted, Captain. Their main weapons require a 30-second recharge cycle. They're powerful but slow." The Volari fleet advanced in a rigid formation, their discipline apparent even to untrained eyes. Their first volley of energy weapons lanced out toward the human ships, but struck only empty space as the smaller, more agile Earth vessels executed evasive maneuvers that seemed to confound the alien targeting systems. "Interesting," Elena observed. "They're not used to fighting opponents that move like we do." "Jackson, what's your read on their hull composition?" "Dense metallic alloy, but our sensors are detecting weak points at their engine junctions. They're well armored but not uniformly." On the tactical display, Elena watched as the Artemis, Orion, and Phoenix executed a complex dance around the larger, slower Volari vessels. The escort ships fired precision strikes at the weak points, then veered away before the aliens could bring their more powerful weapons to bear. "Status of the Solaran vessel?" Elena asked. "Their life support is stabilizing thanks to our engineering teams," Commander Park reported. "We've transferred medical supplies and repair technologies. Ambassador Zephyr is requesting to speak with you." "Put them through." The alien's luminous face appeared on screen, their colors pulsing rapidly in what Elena now recognized as agitation. "Captain Rice, you must withdraw. The Volari fleet has called for reinforcements. Their next wave will overwhelm even your impressive vessels." "How long until they arrive?" "Hours at most. Please, we did not intend to draw your species into our conflict." Elena studied the tactical display thoughtfully. "Ambassador, if we help you repair your propulsion systems, can your ship make it to safety?" "Yes, but we would need time. Our FTL drive is damaged but repairable with your assistance." "Then that's our new mission." Commander Park, redirect all engineering teams to focus on the solar and propulsion systems. We need to buy them time. What followed was a display of combat tactics that would later be studied in military academies across Earth. The human vessels moved in patterns that seemed chaotic, but were precisely calculated, striking at Volari weak points before retreating, drawing fire away from the Solaran refugee ship. The Volari, accustomed to overwhelming force and enemies who cowered or fled, found themselves frustrated by opponents who refused to engage on conventional terms. Their rigid formations became a liability as the smaller, faster human ships exploited gaps in their defenses. When three Volari cruisers managed to break through and approach the Hyperion, Elena ordered a tactic no alien commander could have anticipated. "Execute Sunburst Protocol." The Hyperion suddenly vented plasma from its engines in a controlled explosion, temporarily blinding the Volari sensors. In that moment of confusion, the human vessel fired its main accelerator cannons, not at the enemy ships themselves, but at the space debris surrounding them. The kinetic impact sent chunks of the destroyed Solaran escape pods hurtling toward the Volari vessels at incredible speeds. Their shields, calibrated for energy weapons, proved less effective against physical impacts. One cruiser spun out of control as its navigational systems were damaged. On the bridge of the Hyperion, Elena closely monitored the battle while maintaining communication with the Solaran ship. "Engineering reports the Solaran FTL drive is at 60% functionality," Commander Park announced. "They need another 40 minutes." Elena nodded, her expression grim as she studied the tactical display. More Volari ships were appearing at the edge of the system. "Captain," Lieutenant Rodriguez called out, "I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the lead Volari vessel. They appear to be charging some kind of weapon we haven't seen before." "Target that ship. All vessels, concentrate fire." The four human ships coordinated their attack with precision that spoke of countless drills and simulations. The Hyperion's main cannon struck first, followed milliseconds later by torpedoes from the escort vessels, all converging on the lead Volari ship's power core. The alien vessel shuddered under the assault, its shields flickering, but the weapon continued charging. 10 seconds to their weapon discharge, Rodriguez warned. Elena made a split-second decision. Divert all power to forward shields. Position us between that weapon and the Solaran ship. The Hyperion moved with surprising speed for its size, interposing itself directly in the line of fire. The crew braced as the Volari weapon released a beam of blinding energy that struck the human vessel head-on. The ship shuddered violently. Warning alerts blared across every console. Shield integrity at 12%, shouted the engineering officer. Hull breaches on decks 4 through 7. Emergency bulkheads engaging. But the Hyperion held, and the Solaran ship remained undamaged. The Volari fleet seemed to pause, perhaps shocked that their superweapon had failed to destroy the human vessel. Elena, gripping her command chair as the ship stabilized, allowed herself a grim smile. They're not used to enemies who sacrifice for others. Let's use that confusion. All ships, execute attack pattern Delta. The battle raged for another 30 minutes. The human vessels took damage. The Phoenix lost its main engines and had to be towed by the Orion, but they inflicted disproportionate casualties on the larger Volari fleet. Captain, Commander Park reported, the Solaran FTL drive is operational. They can leave the system now. Elena nodded. Tell them to prepare for immediate departure. But what about us? Park asked quietly. We'll hold off the Volari as long as necessary. Once the Solarans are safely away, we'll retreat toward the system's asteroid field. Their larger ships won't be able to follow us through the debris. Ambassador Zephyr's image appeared again on the view screen. Their colors were brighter now, pulsing in patterns that seemed to indicate strong emotion. Captain Rice, we are ready to depart, but we cannot leave you to face the Volari alone. Your people's survival is the priority, Ambassador. We'll find our way home. The Solaran's colors shifted to a deep, resonant blue. There is another option. Our ship's database contains maps of this sector, including several uninhabited systems where you could safely await rescue. We could transfer this data to your vessels. That would be appreciated, but... And Zephyr continued, we could send a message to our homeworld. The Solaran Collective would dispatch rescue ships immediately. Your people would be honored as heroes. Elena exchanged glances with Commander Park. That's generous, but our mission was to ensure your safety, not tow. Captain, Zephyr interrupted, their voice more forceful than before. My people have existed in this galaxy for millennia. We have encountered many species, but never one that would risk everything for strangers. What your ships have done today, it changes everything we thought we knew about emerging spacefaring races. Before Elena could respond, Lieutenant Rodriguez called out urgently, Captain, the Volari fleet is regrouping. They're forming an attack pattern aimed directly at the Solaran ship. All vessels, defensive positions. Elena ordered, Ambassador, you need to leave now. But to everyone's surprise, the Solaran ship began to glow with increasing intensity, its damaged hull pulsing with light that grew brighter by the second. What are they doing? Park asked, shielding his eyes. Science Officer Jackson worked frantically at her console. They're channeling energy through their hull material. It appears to be some kind of resonance field. The glow reached blinding intensity, then suddenly expanded outward in a pulse that washed over both the human and Volari fleets. As it passed through the Hyperion, the crew felt a strange tingling sensation, but systems remained operational. The effect on the Volari ships was dramatically different. Their vessels drifted, power systems fluctuating wildly. The Solaran pulse disrupted their power distribution networks. Jackson reported with wonder. They're temporarily disabled. Ambassador Zephyr's image returned to the screen. It is a defensive measure we rarely employ, as it drains our core energy reserves, but it has given us all the opportunity to escape. Elena nodded, understanding the gift they had been given. All vessels, prepare for immediate withdrawal. Set course for the coordinates the Solarans are transmitting. The damaged human fleet and the Solaran refugee ship accelerated away from the disabled Volari vessels, entering FTL travel in a synchronized jump that carried them toward safety. 3 days later, Elena stood in the observation lounge of the Hyperion, watching as a fleet of 7 sleek Solaran vessels approached. Their designs were even more elegant than the refugee ship. Clearly, these were military vessels, not civilian transports. Ambassador Zephyr stood beside her, their luminescence reflecting off the viewport glass. The collective council was astonished by our report. They have sent not only rescue ships but diplomatic representatives. They wish to establish formal relations with Earth. Unsure my government will be receptive, Elena replied. Though I imagine they'll be surprised to learn we've made first contact with not 1 but 2 alien civilizations. The Volari have dominated this sector for generations, Zephyr said. Many species fear them. But your ships, your people, stood against them without hesitation. It's what humans do, Elena said simply. We protect those who need protection. Because you are Deathworlders? Zephyr asked, using the term Elena had introduced earlier. She smiled slightly. Perhaps. Our homeworld shaped us to be resilient, adaptable. We evolved alongside predators and survived natural disasters that might have eliminated other species. It made us strong, but it also taught us the value of cooperation. The Volari will not forget this defeat, Zephyr warned. They will learn about Earth, study your people. Let them, Elena said with quiet confidence. And meanwhile, we'll learn about them, and about you, and whatever other civilizations exist out there. Earth has just taken its first step into a larger community. The Solaran's colors shifted to a warm golden hue. Your people have much to offer the galaxy, Captain Reyes, perhaps more than you realize. As the rescue fleet approached, Elena thought about the report she would deliver to Earth Command. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries, imagining countless scenarios, but no one had predicted that their introduction to the galactic community would come through an act of interstellar rescue and warfare. She watched as repair crews from both species worked together to patch the Hyperion's battle damage. Human engineers and Solaran technicians finding ways to communicate and collaborate despite their profound differences. This, she decided, was humanity's true strength. Not just their resilience or their combat tactics, but their ability to adapt, to extend compassion across the gulf of species, to forge connections where none existed before. The galaxy might label them Deathworlders, creatures from a harsh planet, but they would show the stars that Earth's children were more than the world that forged them. They were explorers, defenders, and now, allies to those who needed them most. The 4 damaged human vessels, surrounded by their new Solaran friends, began the journey that would take them home, and Earth toward its destiny among the stars.